Welcome in along with Mike Renner. I'm Cole Brown talking about the Georgia-Auburn matchup this Saturday, brought to you by Eckrich, the official smoke sausage of the Georgia Bulldogs. Mike, Georgia coming off a 34-17 W over Kentucky to secure the East. Now they play the 6-3 Auburn Tigers. How is that Auburn offense?
Yeah, I think this is actually, so we sat here last week and talked about the Georgia-Kentucky game and said that the matchup of the game was Georgia being able to shut down the Kentucky offense. That ended up happening. Georgia won the game. To me, the matchup of the game is Jarrett Stidham versus Georgia's pass defense, because the Auburn offense basically goes as Jarrett Stidham goes. In their two losses in the middle of the season to Mississippi State and Tennessee, those were Stidham's lowest two graded games of the season. This past week against Texas A&M, his highest graded game of the season, 85.1 overall. No coincidence they won that game. So it's going to be a tough matchup for Stidham. He's got the big arm, but the inconsistency worries me in this one. If you look at Georgia's pass defense, we talked about DeAndre Baker all season long. Everyone knows about him at this point. But they have a safety tandem in Richard LeCounte, J.R. Reed. They've allowed 218 yards combined this season between those two. It's a tough defense all around to attack, so Stidham's going to have to be on his A game for them to have a chance.
Switching over to the Georgia offense, how is that offense doing so far this year, and how is that young quarterback performing?
Yeah, I think the quarterback, again, is the story of the game here, because Georgia can run the ball on basically everyone, but they need Jake Fromm to just play efficient football for them to consistently win. You look at his grades over the past handful of weeks, the inconsistency is rampant. Versus LSU, 51.9 overall grade. Then he goes against Florida, a tough defense, 90.7 overall grade. Then back to Kentucky this past week, 55.0. So they can win, actually, without him playing at his best. Unlike, I think, Auburn. They can still win this game because of how talented that offensive line is, how talented that rushing attack is with Elijah Holyfield. But at the same time, you can't have him just throwing out a sinker and expect for it not to be a close game.
I'm definitely looking forward to some top-quality quarterback play this weekend. Now, who are some guys that we need to watch for this game?
Yeah, a couple guys I want to highlight here. One, Derek Brown, the junior defensive tackle for Auburn. He's going to be a difficult matchup for that Georgia offensive line. Coming off the highest graded game of his entire career last week against Texas A&M. Had a sack, a couple of hits, a couple of hurries, batted pass. He's a disruptor there in the middle. That's going to be big. If he comes to play, that's going to be big for shutting down Georgia's rushing attack. And then on the other side of the ball, Georgia offensive lineman, left tackle Andrew Thomas, currently the second highest graded tackle in the entire nation. He's only a sophomore. Can't even be drafted this year if he did want to come out. Hasn't allowed a single pressure since that loss to LSU. He's been bringing his A game week in and week out. I expect those sort of interior matchups to be fun to watch in this one.
I'm certainly looking forward to the matchup. It should be a great game. Well, that wraps up our Georgia-Auburn preview, brought to you by Eckrich, the official smoke sausage of the Georgia Bulldogs. Don't forget to pick up your Eckrich smoke sausage at your local grocery store for this weekend's tailgate or homegate party. And make sure to visit EckrichFootball.com for great game day recipes and to enter the season-long $1 million challenge.